Well, we were going to finish up the position battles, but skirt, there's an update that we need to address. Okay, there's been a cut. So now let's talk about it on Boy Green Meets Wudi.
Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field Gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor Gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
We are coming at you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Boy Green Meets Wudi. Like we said in the cold open, we're going to talk about that final position. There's one more position to talk about, but some news came down the pike, and I'll pass it over here to my Boy Green. Talk to us about it.
Well, that's really it. It caught me again. I did not see it live. I was in the middle of a Taekwondo lesson, and after I'm like, let me go check on what could have possibly happened in the universe while I was away for an hour plus, and it was the Laken Tomlinson news. And we talked a little bit about it on Boy Green Daily, but I don't know if it's the same people watching Boy Green Meets Wudi, watching Boy Green Daily. But, Laken become a personal friend of mine. I had, grown close to him. It was funny, interacted with one of our polls, one of our offensive line polls, which was kind of funny. He was not a big fan of Wudi saying a potential Laken replacement. He was like, huh? Who? Funny, but now less funny, I guess, since actually he did end up getting moved on from. I also just heard, I was listening to Connor Hughes, so shout out to Jake Asman, who's doing live stuff from the Combine. Connor Hughes was talking to him. It sounds like a pay cut was not a thing that the Jets were thinking of or even interested in, according to Connor Hughes. Lukewarm was the term he used about a potential, you cut him, start a new contract, and bring him back potentially, like a lower figure. That is not in the cards, apparently, according to Connor Hughes, who was speaking with Jake Asman. So, wowza. He's gone, which means, again, now the Jets have 3 holes at a minimum to fill. And you could argue 4 because Elijah Vera-Tucker hasn't been able to make it out of the month of October over the last 2 years. So relying on him solely to be an unquestioned starter seems tough. And Ty Rapp, by the way, randomly from on YouTube, sending good vibes from Alaska. And he asked the question, although I would prefer an exclamation point as opposed to a question mark when he says best Jets duo content creators from that respect. But that's neither here nor there. So, Wudi, I gave my take earlier on Laken, and the gist is, in a very short version, is that, it surprised me that they decided to cut him because they had so many holes. And that's putting a lot of onus on Joe Douglas to say to himself, oh, no problem. I'll get you a left tackle. I'll get you a left guard. I'll get you a right guard, again, depending where AVT plays. So you're going to need 3 of these things, plus depth, plus a guy behind AVT that you trust and believe in can start. 4 offensive line near starters, 3 starters for sure, 1 that might as well be a starter. That's a lot to put on your plate when that's not the only thing there.
They say with great power comes great responsibility. I did not realize at the time the power that these scissors had. And I was just, hey, cut, save $8 million, just make this cut. But apparently they worked for real. So I'm going to put these in a safe place. All right. All right. Put them in a safe place.
Wow. Yeah, please do.
This was what I said, we do these position battles. That's what we've been doing. If you've been following Boy Green Meets Wudi, and when we talked about the guard position, I said, cut him, and I think 3 things, or 3 holes. He was a hole. No disrespect, but he He did not play well.
I
Did
don't
not play
think you
well.
can say no disrespect, and I'm like, hey, Wudi, you're ugly. No disrespect, of course, but
No.
I mean, obviously there was disrespect intended with that. You called him a hole, and I'm assuming you're not talking about his whole victory donuts that he used to do after every win. The holes in those donuts. You're referencing a different hole in a
I
minute.
mean, but I don't say it with ill will. It's just what it is. He has been one of the league's worst guards, objectively, in the league. So, if you're trying to build a unit to protect a 40-year-old man that will turn 41 during the season, I don't think that's somebody you look to your left, you look to your right, that you can feel confident in going into battle. I think that's fair. So, cut him. Now you have $8 million. And now you have a nice chunk of change to try to find people that you are confident in. So I think that should have been the plan all along. It looks like it is the plan, right?
Well, apparently.
To your point, right? They're not trying to offer a cheaper deal. I wouldn't either. It's, thank you. And then now let's look at different people. So
Jesus.
I would say 2 free agents, 2 draft picks have to join this room. Okay, you already know what I would do with Elijah, right? Elijah Vera tackle, right? That's me. So I would move him to the left.
Well, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
So Laken getting cut, what does that say more so to you? That your theory is right, theory for lack of a better word, that, oh yeah, this means AVT is definitely a tackle, or does it say he's definitely a guard? Because I think it does in some sense, not knowing the rest of the picture, obviously. We're here on February 27th. We're less than 2 weeks from the legal tampering period. There's a lot to figure out till we get there. But does this Laken Tomlinson release say more to you that ABT will be a tackle or more so a guard this year? One or the other?
Honestly, that's a great question. I'm not sure what the impact is.
Because you can make an argument for both, I think. I think you can make an argument for guard, like, whoa, now they need 2 guards, right? Where ABT's outside the musical chairs. Me, you, and ABT are all standing over here. We're looking at the offensive line hole. Whoa, Laken gone. Wow, they need 2 guards. Us 3 are talking, looking. Oh, wow, they also need 2 tackles right now. So ABT, where are you going, pal? That's what I'm saying. I think you can make a compelling argument for guard because, like, oh, well, now they have 1 plugged. You could also make for tackle. Okay, now people say, and we analyzed actually the guard market a bunch of weeks ago. It seems like the guard market is far deeper than the tackle market. So if the Jets are making that same assertion, then you could get 2 guards like a Robert. We'll talk about those today, obviously, with top replacement options. You could go for a Robert Hunt, who's supposed to be a big money guard, a Kevin Dotson, who's supposed to be a big money guard, and then a lesser. I don't know how much Zeitler's going to get, or one of those lower level guards. That's like, that's not fair to say that to Zeitler, but like a George Fant if he was a guard. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not talking about spending $40 million Laken dollars.
Just a less expensive. Yeah,
exactly. He played on a $3 million deal last year. Again, he was a tackle, but that's my point. If you could combine a Hunt and a George Fant level guy at guard, then, okay, the ABT path makes a lot more sense. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying, because this is what I said when we talked about the offensive guard situation. This is what I said. I said, cut him, AVT, Elijah Vera tackle over there to the left. And then Robert Hunt was my chosen person, right? Rising up from the free agency pool, right? Come on down from Miami. Wow. Yeah. Come on down from Miami and join a real franchise. Come to the Jets.
Okay. And didn't you say give him the Laken deal, basically?
I did. Because I think he could be what they thought they were getting in Laken. A guy in his higher 20s. He's already shown potential to be a real Pro Bowler. I know Laken was a replacement, so that's something that, he could say he was at the game. But like someone who is actually voted on the first try as a Pro Bowler, you can try to get that. And I think that's the type of guy that you need to help grow, especially as Tittman, is going to continue his growing pains. I don't know about McGovern if he's coming back. So you're going to need that veteran presence on the line. And I think Robert Hunt is a really, really good player and person to add to the unit.
Is that your top target?
That is my top target.
Okay, because we'll start interior. There's other questions. There's great questions in the chat. Again, we're streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. So feel free to send questions wherever you're watching, and we'll try to answer a couple of those as part of kind of this offensive line discussion. I see a couple good ones in there already, so we'll get to some of those, but keep them coming for sure. Because I think we have to start with a straight up Laken answer before we get to anywhere else. Because Laken was a left guard basically his entire career. I double checked his snap log playing as a professional. And only in his first 2 years did he flirt a little. Did he have a phase in high school where he's like, what do I really like? He played a little bit of right guard and like a splash of like tackle or tight end. But like for 99% of his snaps and reps that he's gotten in his career, it's been left guard. And that's where the Jets plugged and played him, even from his San Francisco days to the Jets. So guard is the position to attack. So you have circled Robert Hunt as your guy. I will stay in the AFC East as well. I'm going Mike Onwenu. He is the guy that I'm pushing all my chips into the middle of the table for and to go chase. I don't think he will be as expensive as Robert Hunt, but nonetheless, he is a guy that has tackle guard versatility. I'd personally plug him at right guard. He's played both throughout his career, most recently tackle with the Patriots, but I'd prefer him at guard, quite frankly. He's young. You skunk a rival, and then you plug and play a guy like that who gives you a little big nasty, okay? And you plug him into the trenches, and we get a little freaky. That's what I would like to see. Mike Onwenu. And by the way, I know throughout the history of Boy Green Meets Wudi this offseason that we've done a lot of this poll, my guy versus your guy sucks. Screw you, pal. I could go Michael Clemens, Deion Dawkins, F you. I could do that to your guys, but actually I am in concert with you on Hunt. If we get Hunt, phenomenal. We get my guy Onwenu, phenomenal. We get both. Double phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? So I this won't be a pissing contest unless you give me a name I hate. This will not be a pissing contest of trying to tear down your guy to my guy. I would prefer or like either of those guys. And it does appear, according to New England Patriots people, I can't speak about Hunt yet, but Patriots people, it sounds like Onwenu will not be tagged, which means he will have a chance to reach the open market unless they get a deal done in the next 2 weeks here, which gives the Jets a chance.
Well, Onwenu, you had him as your tackle before that he was your right tackle.
I'm calling an audible, pal. That's what an audible is. Okay?
No, I'm not disputing the use of the term that you just used, but so Elijah Vera tackle. Where is he in this? I
believe
little line right here.
That's what we call another audible in the business, pal. Is that I won the fan vote? Of course I did, because
you just used name value. You actually using the same name that won you the tackle to now try to win some guard. So Madison GM and Madden GM.
Yeah, okay. I am a man of the people, and they listen to what I say. When I say jump, they ask me how high, sir. Okay, that's what they say. And the fact of the matter is that I think we need to make a pivot on what's going to happen. We can all give our opinions, and we do that on this show. But what's going to happen? I believe the Jets are going to say, well, ABC to tackle, because the left tackles are limited in the draft. We've talked about that. And ABC can play left tackle. So, but I'm afraid of the Jets doing this. So we go crazy guards, right? We get Hunt, Onwenu, whoever the hell we want to get. Let's pretend it's not Onwenu, because it's not like Robert Hunt's kicking a tackle. So you get guard options, and you have Tippmann at center. And then you go into the draft, and AVT at this moment is looking like your right tackle. And now all of a sudden, the draft happens, and Olu Fashanu and Joe Alt do not make it to the Jets. Now you're like, oh boy. AVT to left tackle? Because that's the shoulder shrug of what we're doing here, and that's where I get really concerned. So I don't want that reality to happen. So I believe AVT will be our starting right tackle as things, again, this is pre-free agency, but as things are currently constructed, I believe that's what's going to happen. I believe the Jets, especially this Laken move, are now going to aggressively attack the guard market and interior offensive line market in general, hopefully keeping Tippmann at center, as we talked about before. Aggressively attack the guard market and go for the Hunts, the Dotsons, the Onwenu, the Kevin Zeitler. These are the names I think they're going to aggressively pursue to fill those holes on the interior, kick ABT to right tackle, and hope and pray to the gods that left tackle Fashanu or Alt is on the board or within range to trade up for.
I mean, if you had just listened to me this whole time, I feel like so many problems, right, could just be solved if we just listened to James Wudi a little bit more. Because this is what I already said. This is happening. Move him to the left. Move it left. Don't worry about the right. We talking about the left. All right. In the draft, there are 2 right tackles that are almost guaranteed to be on the board. I'm talking about people that have played right tackle pretty much exclusively in college.
And who are they?
So, Talise Fuaga and J.C. Latham.
Okay.
So, if
just to give the people some names so they can understand what you're talking about. I know, Wudi, you're up here, and we're looking up to the Wudi God. I'm just asking for some. Please, sir, can I have some more answers? Oh, okay. J.C. Latham and Fuaga. Okay, I understand.
Got a whole lot of answers. A whole lot of answers for you. So I think that should be the plan. You have a right tackle that's waiting for you in the first round. Move Elijah to the left, okay, and then have the best possible. You have a veteran, right? Like you said, Robert Hunt was playing right guard, so that's where I would want him is right guard, and then left guard is open to interpretation. I think a very common misconception that fans have is that an elite offensive line is 5 All-Pros.
Oh, yes, that's a great common misconception. I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, I mean you don't need 5 All-Pros. I mean what you need is a unit of 5 cohesive people, maybe 2 All-Pros, 3 All-Pros. Look at the best offensive lines, from the last few years. None of them are 5. So when people, and that's why you win these polls, right? Because you have the cute names, right? And everyone's like, this cute name. But we're talking about realistic, who will actually produce and protect this 40-year-old man. I'm thinking Elijah Vera tackle. That's somebody who I think has all-pro potential. Joe Tippmann, he has Pro Bowl potential. Rookie right tackle, if they are able to land Fuaga, I think he has a real high ceiling in this league. Robert Hunt, as good as they come. And then that left guard, okay, if you can afford someone, else, all right, that's cool, because I know we're looking for receivers. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that we're looking for. If not, you can also draft, and that's why I brought up, during that original conversation, Zach Zinter from Michigan, right? There are a couple other, guard options in the draft, and they could just come, if there's any person who I'd want to kind of look to their left, look to their right, and be like, I'm going to work like this person, it would be Elijah Vera Tucker. I almost said tackle again, but I'm going to say his real name. So I think that would be a really good setup, a real cost-effective but very efficient way to protect this 40-year-old man under center.
All right, let's bring up this. Keep It Simple RC has it on YouTube. What will Carter Warren's role be? And also I see it on Instagram. Lord Tresap, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, says Damien Wudi wants to see Carter Warren start. I think that's the dumbest shit I've heard all offseason. Bluntly, they're on the gram. Yes, Damien Wudi initially, a bunch of weeks and months back, said, hey, guys, Carter Warren's part of the plan, basically. And he's played both tackle spots, so I'm assuming that's what Wudi was referencing. He doubled down on it after the Laken Tomlinson move, and he tweeted it out earlier today that he believes Carter Warren is part of the plan. And as Lord Tresap said, that's the quote-unquote dumbest shit I've heard all offseason. So there you go. And then we also have it here in front of us with Keep It Simple RC. What is Carter Warren's role? Wudi, will go to you.
Allow me, please, to wholeheartedly agree with my personal friend, Lord Tresap. All right. We go back a long ways, and we try to go forward with a cohesive Jets unit. Please keep Carter Warren at least 2 injuries away from this offensive line. I mean, if he's developing, cool, he can hang out with Keith Carter. I don't know how long he'll be a Jet, but, have them do their thing, stay by coach. But for people on the field, let's keep it to the proven commodities, okay? So 2 injuries at least off the field. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, and also for those who forgot, Carter Warren is the Jets' fourth round offensive tackle out of Pittsburgh. He had some injury issues at the back end that compromised his pre-draft process. Jets get him. Brandon Thorne, I'll give another shout out. He's the offensive line guru extraordinaire. He said of Carter Warren that he had a high grade on him, and he believes it's not out of the question that he could be a starter for the New York Jets this year. That was Brandon Thorne to Will Parkinson on TOJ Talks. So shout out there. So there's a lot of Carter Warren love. I'm a little higher on Carter Warren than you. I'm fine if he's our swing tackle. If he is the sixth man off the bench, which would not be your 2 injury requirement for that to touch the field. But also, I don't want to just get complacent with that. I want the Jets to add as many pieces to the puzzle as possible, as we've talked about, a David Bakhtiari, potentially, if he ends up getting cut, or things of that nature. So add more to the room, not Carter Warren, perhaps unquestioned as a sixth man, but I could totally see that as being the possibility for the Jets. And the only other thing I want to address is this, Wudi, because like this comes up a lot. We have a lot of different questions or comments. I'm going to highlight them all here on the show. Richie B. He says, who's been a big fan of the show. Doubt Patriots let him go when they have 3 times the Jets salary cap. He's talking about Onwenu. Wait, there's somebody else here. I want to get all you bastards together. Where are you? There it is. Avatal. Why would Zeitler leave Baltimore? So I've seen a lot of these comments throughout this entire show. People, a bag of money is why. Like, why would they do this? Why would they do that? Money. What do you mean? Is that like a rhetorical question? Money. And then we get the Richie B who says, well, the Patriots have, all this money. I didn't know that the most money automatically meant you got the top free agents. Oh, weird. Wow, the Jets have had top money all the time, and they haven't gotten a guaranteed piece of crap in a box. Get the Tommy Boy reference going, but like that doesn't guarantee you get the guys. Sure, it guarantees that you could offer the most, but that's part of the recruiting process. We will see. People get down. Devontae. The Raiders GM today said, I'm not trading Devontae Adams. And Jet fans are tweeting, oh, it's over. What do you mean it's over? What did you think he was going to say? Devontae Adams, open for business, baby. Call me. Well, but no, of course he was going to say that. That doesn't change anything for me. I don't give a flying hoot what any of these boobs say, outside of Joe Douglas tomorrow, of course, because I'm going to break down every key detail of what Joe Douglas says at that podium. But everyone else, I don't care what the flying hoot any of these crazy bastards say about their free agents or whatnot. The proof is in the pudding. The legal tampering period is coming, and not everyone can keep everybody. There's going to be an opportunity for the Jets to aggressively fix his offensive line. And will they be able to do it? Well, that's going to be the situation. We're about to friggin' find out, baby. So I'm curious to see that. But I see those comments all the time, like, why would this person leave? Why would this person leave? Money. That's why. That's exactly why.
Hey, don't beat up on my boy Richie B too bad, because his last comment is some of the best logic I've ever seen anybody make in a YouTube comment. All right, so just show some respect. 5 cohesive starters. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for people that can protect this old man, Aaron Rodgers. And I think, again, Tippmann in the middle, 2 young tackles on the left, solid veteran guard on the right. Plug and play. Okay. I mean, hey, if you need me to beef up, give me a diet plan, JD. And I'll be out there at left guard, okay?
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Another option apparently we should have been considering this entire time. So let's end on this, Wudi. And I think it's a point that a lot of people have brought up. Let me see if I could find one of the people that said it. Oh, here it is. Rory Garvin on YouTube. JN, the JN avatar. I'm pretty sure that's the Jets News Instagram. But, quote, I'm optimistic, but if Joe Douglas couldn't build a damn line in 5 years, why should we believe he could do it in 1? And that's where we're going to end. The show is that. And that's why I pressed back a little bit on the Laken move to ditch him like a prom night dumpster baby. Is like, okay, let's just okay, you say he was a hole. Okay, fine. So how in the hell, if after he got here in 2019 and he said, we're going to pride ourselves on trench warfare, developing an offensive line, 5 years later, we're getting 3 starters this offseason because of his building foundational philosophy. I never want to buy a house from Joe Douglas ever again after what I've seen with how he builds and lays the foundation for my family to be raised and built on. So my question is this, Woody. What is your confidence level? 1 being it's non-existent, 10 being it's 1,000% going to happen. So base it on that scale. What is your confidence level in Joe Douglas heading into this key portion of the offseason of free agency and eventually the draft, but legal tampering period, this next bit of time, that he will be able to solve the offensive line from this perspective of getting guys in? Of course, guys can get injured. So like he could sign the highest paid left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle. And that wouldn't necessarily guarantee that they'll stay healthy. But from a confidence standpoint, that he will get bodies in here, they will be in there. And then your response to him will be like, okay, he did it. What is your confidence level? He will be able to do that this offseason.
Wow. That is a question, if I've ever heard one.
That's what I do. Yeah.
I will say 2 things to answer the question. First off, is that yes, Joe Douglas has taken his sweet time to try to get around to this position.
It's been marinating for a while. Yeah.
The gun is to the head. All right. This is a new Joe Douglas. Like this is it. This is it. If this does not work this season, he is done. And that is something that has not been the case this whole time. He's trust the process. You can trust me. I just brought in Salah. That's always been that. He can serve us whatever type of BS he wants, and everyone's oh yeah, we'll eat it. Yeah, thank you. Oh, save the dead cat. Thank you, Joe Douglas. But no one's eating anything now. All right, they're just like my toddler, not eating anything, just throwing it on the floor. So Joe Douglas, his back is against the wall. So I think. We are going to see a new Joe Douglas. I think that's one thing that's right. Worth noting. And the second thing that I want to note, and this actually pains me to say this because I if I'm Woody, I would have fired Joe Douglas this past season. Like he would not be the GM. I would have brought in another GM.
Okay.
So it pains me to say this. In 2021, the offensive line stayed healthy. And they were the 11th ranked offensive line by PFF, right? They stayed healthy. George Fant did great. Connor McGovern, right? That both of them at the same time, pretty much elevated their play. The very next year, there were more injuries. More people were put on IR in the offensive line than every other position combined. And
that's
of course,
impressive.
the team failed. We know last year, very similar. I can't say that there were more IR than every other position combined, but we know what happened with the offensive line. It was brutalized with injuries, all the different combinations. So to answer your question, I am going to give a 7. I think Joe Douglas has actually proven that he can bring guys in. He has brought guys in. And again, in 2021, he built a pretty decent line on makeshift parts. Like there were no true studs, right? But together they were the 11th ranked line when they were healthy. We don't know what they were going to look like in 2022. And not too many people were that upset with the line that I was upset because, we were trusting old men that, were coming off surgery. But a lot of people were like, oh, no, this line will be all right. And if they stayed healthy, we don't know. So in terms of bringing guys in, having that Madden roster look okay, I'm going to say 7. Joe Douglas, he makes shrewd moves all the time, and he knows what he's looking for. He has that great scouting department. I think he can bring guys in, whether or not they stay healthy. I mean, is that the turf? Is that the diet? I don't know.
You have a comment I think a lot of people believe, and I've said it, right? Like Joe Douglas has the gun to his head. Like, give me all your money. No. Okay. Or, oh, geez, yes, of course. Right? You have 2 options. They're both pretty clear. But I just heard, I told you I was listening to Jake Asman, who interviewed Connor Hughes live at the Combine. And Connor Hughes gave an answer. And I'm going to have to tweet out the clip and you guys can judge it for yourself. But I was hearing it going, excuse me? Like I almost drove off the road. I drove here for the radio station before. He said, to your point, the gun to the head, like he's got no choice. He has to kind of get after it. And the comment Connor Hughes said, he said, I would not be surprised if Joe Douglas goes down with the ship. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what do you mean? Not that they can hear me because I'm in my car and the interview's happening live. I can't affect it. But he said he would not be surprised if Joe Douglas like lives and dies by his morals and his ethics and how he built this team. That, hey, I'm not going, just because there's a gun to my head doesn't mean I'm going to do crazy. Like he said that he is going to go after the offensive line, obviously, because he has to, but like, he's not going to like zig and zag in ways that he normally wouldn't if this was year 1 to year 2 to year 3. That like he has a way of building a team that if he goes down with the ship, this was what he was just saying. Again, I'll have to send out the clip of you guys react to this yourself, but I know how I was reacting to it. He said that, like, if like, because Joe Douglas believes his plan. So, like, if it goes down, he's like, well, at least I went down with my plan. See you guys. I'm going down with the Titanic. Whoop, dressed up in my suit. I'm going down with the ship. This is the ship I built. This is the ship I'm going down with. And I just almost lost it. And Jake Asman, to his credit, is like, excuse me, what? And they're having a back and forth about it, which was funny. But I just heard that comment, and that almost scared the crap out of me. So, yes, I hope to your point. And I've been saying the same thing. So it's not like it's crazy. Gun to your head. You have no choice. You have to do what you have to do. And but that comment got me a little bit. I was like, wow. God, I hope not.
And I hate to do this again because now I'm gonna have to defend somebody that I theoretically would have fired if I had the power to. But him being true to his morals and to his method and philosophy of building a roster, I don't think that's a bad thing. Like that concept is why I'm at peace with him not re-signing Bryce Huff. Because he's not going to overpay, right? He knows he has his plan of who he would re-sign, right? Mm-hmm. Bryce isn't that type of I don't want to say foundational piece because it might sound like I'm selling him short, but like he's done what he's done. He's had good seasons, and if it would be nice if they could re-sign him, but if he falls out of price range, Joe Douglas isn't going to reach. He's only done that once with John Franklin.
Because you think it's fine. Because
scissors for I don't know. It's too powerful. It's too powerful. Let me leave them. But
if I'm just understanding what you're saying, Bryce Huff is just a role player. He's not a foundational piece, not a key piece. He's a guy.
But I'm saying Joe, like he
and he will only pay him as such.
Exactly, and that's okay. That's okay. My hope is that gun to the head doesn't necessarily mean zigzag, do whatever, but hey, you gotta shoot your best shots right now. So hit me with the absolute best your philosophy can do. And I think Robert Hunt falls along that line, right? He thought Laken was solid. It wasn't quite. So you cut ties, and what I've been saying is that Robert Hunt could be what he thought he was getting that first time. Move Elijah Vera Tucker. If that's even his choice, because the coaching staff, they definitely make personnel decisions. But that's what I'm saying. The aggression, not a philosophy change, but the aggression. Okay, I think that's what we're talking about in terms of Joe Douglas fighting for his job, fighting for his life. Can he do it? Can he bring that aggression out? They say nice guys finish last, and the offense has been dead last for a couple of years.
Wow, Wudi, Joe Douglas, #1 defender. Well, didn't have that on my bingo card, but here we are. Boy Green meets Wudi. So yeah, Wudi, we actually had a different show planned today, but I feel like it would have been whatever the word is, like ignoring the story by talking about this the topic we originally had scheduled, and feel like we're ignoring the dead guy in the room in the corner. Like, hey, are we going to address that or what? So we will punt this topic. It's an important topic for sure that we have to get to, but we will punt this. What's today? Tuesday? Is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. We will schedule it for Thursday unless more crazy breaking news happens, which is certainly always possible. Wudi, good conversation. You're right. You're always right. Blah, blah, blah. Pass through all that crap, and I'll see you Thursday, you bastard.
Absolutely. Everybody, thank you for watching, and you do not want to miss Thursday because I'm sure Joe Douglas will be saying some chicken McNuggets out his mouth that we'll have to dissect and digest on Thursday.
That's actually a good point. We'll probably have to punt this topic again till next week because of Joe Douglas set to speak tomorrow at noon. So TBD and all that, but it should be a lot of fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for Boy Green Daily. Everybody, take care. We'll see you soon.